September meeting of the Board of Water Commissioners called to order. A reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept them.
Second. Okay, any edits or changes? Not okay, those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Presentation of bills and accounts.
Make motion to accept the bills and accounts.
I'll second that. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Vinnie Water Dam.
All right, the geotechnical data from the February drilling that they did has been completed. Got that late last week, I think. I haven't had a chance to read through it yet, but it seems like everything went smoothly and it was all straightforward. So the drilling is done. There was a few more tree survey work that had to get done since the last meeting. We had thought it was complete, but they came back with a few more
Trees that have to
days
be-
worth of surveying the
Hmm.
dam. So it's a lot of trees up there, outside the fence, inside the fence, so. But, so
They'll
we're
probably
on
have to come
that.
down.
I mean, this is just, some of these are so far from the dam that I think this is part of the work, because there was potential limits of disturbance. I don't think all the trees, there will be some trees that will probably have to come down, but this is just a general survey of every tree and wetland
Okay.
delineation and all that fun stuff, so. Just so the plans show every tree that's of a certain size, I guess, on the plan and all that good stuff, so we don't disturb them. So that's the next thing now was the drilling is complete and we're still moving forward with the 60% design, which hopefully is coming up sooner rather than later.
Capital improvement plan.
That's still kind of on there, the holding place. I haven't had a chance to really touch base with Jim on that. But still working on some costs and stuff. I think I have most of the projects that we're gonna include on it there. So trying to get some rough cost estimates to give it a little more polish.
$2026 budget.
Same kind of deal, working on first draft, what was October, I have a little better idea. Again, no health insurance rates or anything like that yet, it's still pretty early for that. And then we can have a normal workshop meeting or whatever we call that typically. Over early November,
Mhm.
normal time frame.
Assuming all the costs are gonna increase as opposed to decrease.
That's typically how it goes, yeah.
Okay, service leak policy.
So I included a copy. Highlighted the section that could potentially be changed, and so I forget why I was looking up prevailing wage requirements and rules, but I was looking at it and I was reading how it was written, and I'm like, this seemed like it might not qualify for service leak repair, so I had asked Mike to reach out to the Department of Labor, and he did, and they responded with the to the below scenario about how we hire third-party plumbers to repair private service lines if they refuse to do it themselves. And they were agreed that that would be considered private work and prevailing wage is not required. In terms of benefits, it's less money the department has to put up front if we have to do one, an emergency or for refusal of a homeowner to do it. And if they refuse, it's also going to cost them less money in the end as well to put onto their bill. So we don't make money off of these. We bill them the cost of the plumber and put onto the bills. So
So how do we determine which plumber we use? Is there a
there's,
bid process or they just call up?
so on this, we have, based on the policy, there's like four, I think there's four currently that are there and they go on a rotation. Those plumbers that we know do a lot of services, they're capable. And it's not work, it's gonna be a challenge for them. They're not gonna run the roadblocks, so costs more money, or they do something that is gonna be an issue for the owner down the line.
And do you find much, I guess each project's a little different, so. Difference in their costs? And part of determine.
Yeah, I mean, every job is so different. depending on location, length. What side of the main is on, where they're digging, what they're putting back.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve this modification. Correct?
Yeah.
Motion to approve the modification to the Kingston Water Department Service League policy.
I'll
Second that.
second that. Any further discussion?
So just the city now can bill these guys at a non-prevailing rate,
For this particular work, yeah, so in the,
only if it falls back to the water department, they don't
so
rectify
if
it.
they refuse to repair, or another scenario would be if we're fixing a break and we were to break like a private sewer lateral, like we're not capable of repairing or something like that, we could now hire a plumber at
Right.
a rate that's not prevailing to repair it.
And that's what the Department of Labor's,
They agreed with that. We have emails that we will save and keep, and they said, because it's private and it's not a great benefit to the public, or not a benefit, I forget how.
Not a public
work. It's not a public benefit.
Not a public works project.
You have a test that you can meet a certain number of the test.
I gave them a couple different scenarios. This was the only one that was positive in terms of prevailing
Take
wage
one.
rate. So,
take one positive one.
I mean, in the end, we would get reimbursed at the prevailing wage rate if we build it. It's just, that's a significant added cost to the homeowner that typically when they don't do it, there's either a principal or they say they can't afford it, so we can save them some money and solve the problem of water coming up or being wasted. It's kind of killing two birds in the stone scenario there.
Plus,
Yeah, I don't see a downside really.
Don't give them anything.
It's just less money for the
Yeah.
plumber. That's really the only, but that's what it is.
okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carry. Lead service line inventory.
So we're just preparing to do our annual notification, has to be out by the end of the year. It's same letters basically that are gonna go out this year, that went out last year to those with unknown services and those with lead services.
Do you have a copy of that?
The letter,
Yeah,
not on me.
okay.
You get a lot of calls from when those letters went out?
The first, I would say, 2 weeks, yeah, we got a lot. And then, yeah, and then it slowly trickled down. I mean, if we get one every other month now.
That's the
it's a
same,
lot.
the same people are just being notified.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Essentially, I mean, so from last year to this year, we have 29 fewer lead services.
We're
60,
making progress.
63 more non-lead services and 34 less unknowns, so.
Good, go down again, so you have 29 fewer lead lines,
Yes,
okay, and 63 less,
more non-leads.
So with the fewer ones, are people repairing them themselves?
A few were new taps, a few were people that called and said, I know for a fact on this date, on this day, we got a service, a tap and everything, the whole thing was replaced, and so we, take that and.
And we've done some public works projects like on Prospect Street where we
Yeah, Prospect one there, yeah,
ripped out people's service lines as part of our sewer replacements. We have to put them back.
Okay,
And
And that,
so
we find it, right? Or if the city finds it in the water, they find it,
if we're
if we're doing a project.
yeah, if we're messing with it, right? We have to touch it.
when they're exposed,
Yeah.
you don't have to test, you just, this is lead and it has to be removed.
yeah, when they're disturbed.
Well, they can pretty much tell that it's a lead line by looking at it.
In these sewer projects, we're digging such a big hole in the road, we're basically replacing all of the services regardless, usually. Because we're messing with them all.
okay.
We're changing the elevation of the line sometimes, we make the water department move their line sometimes, so we generally have to just replace everything.
So the answer is just to continue to replace all the sewer lines,
Yeah.
and then
Yes,
then
I
you guys can
agree.
replace as part of the
Yeah.
sewer improvement project, the
Yeah.
lead service lines.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that,
good.
I like
Yes,
that
think
plan.
That's a great idea too.
Yeah, wave your money pot.
Yeah.
Well, it's not coming out of my money, it's coming out
Oh,
of,
well, but your sewer rate.
Yeah.
Sewer rate will be.
That's
well,
the
but
only
that,
thing.
that's the
$30
sewer
per
rate,
week.
and not the water rate.
We get phone calls.
Yeah, they call.
Yeah,
They
It's on your bill.
Yeah.
true, well, true.
So I mean, the reason that the lead service lines are not fewer is, well, we had a lot of people call and say like, you know, I have copper coming in through the foundation. That's not enough to take it off of this list. So the way the template from the state is that we have to use their template.
But it's probable, if they're saying that, it's probably not.
Well, how do we go ahead and prove that without digging up?
So the template is, there's a public side and a customer side. Now for us, it's all customer side, but the template is pretty populated by the state. You can't even edit certain things in the template. It's just, everybody has to use it. So when they call and say, I have copper, and they send us a picture that's just copper, it takes off the customer side as, you know, now it's copper. But the way the template works to create these summary tables that are submitted is it's all formulas. So we can't go in and change the quote unquote public side based on a picture from the basement. If our records are saying this tap is from 1901 and it's lead, a picture from the basement isn't good enough for us to say the whole thing is copper. We can't assume. That could have easily been run in from the curb stop and into the basement. So and on our inventory, it's still going to show up as a lead line.
Oh, it has lead, not even unknown.
Well, if we have we have it on unknown, then it's gonna show up as unknown, but we had lead for the whole thing, and then somebody called and said, it's copper inside,
It still shows as lead.
yeah.
So how many lead lines?
On our inventory, we have 2682,
2682.
And how many total?
7739.
And then you have
34.
non-lead lines. Is that, wasn't there a couple of different categories that you
Yes,
had?
non-lead is 3019.
Non-lead is
That's almost half.
3,000, what was that?
3019.
So half or not, a third.
And then the rest are unknown then?
2021 are unknown, and 17 are galvanized as required replacement.
People have shown me pictures.
We just can't,
Yeah,
we can't,
Can't.
unless you dig it.
What was that number for unknown?
2021.
So some of the third that are saying they're lead, it's just because the formula, they're probably not.
I mean,
Well, they
some
can't.
of those, I mean, we have more than 29 people come and like, you know, contact us and say, here it is, but. I mean, some of those people either got taps and we could take it off and, you know, the whole thing is now copper, or they called and said, I know for a fact that on January 1st of 2001, this was done. And we hired this plumber, so that's enough.
I have a bill from 1990. Someone sent me.
Would the plumbers have their records? Have we contacted the plumbers to say, they have some type of inventory about water line replacements? Cross-reference, I mean,
Possible. Maybe.
I mean, again, I don't know how many plumbers you have, but you have the 4 that you use in your rotation that are probably the ones that.
I mean, I know some of the plumbers, I think we've lost 2 of the major plumbers in the last 8 years that don't do work anymore, like they retired or, so, I mean, it's possible, it's.
Well, I can imagine, I would assume that like Jeff, a lot of plumbing would have a computer program, you know, on his computer saying that he could probably make an inquiry into it and say, print me out the list of water replacement lines in the last 10 years or 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, and I can reach out to Jeff and ask. Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of part, we have to develop a plan to do something with these lists, right?
We're just trying to stay ahead of the curve, right? 'Cause we're,
I mean, at this
Being
point,
transparent.
it's just the inventory at this point, I mean,
Right, but
but yes.
that's part of working on the inventory.
Ideally, the unknowns are the ones that really start coming down, that's the number we want to get down.
Mhm.
So those 2,000 that are unknown, like, we can get those labeled, that would be big. But it's hard to label them when you can't see through the ground.
Right.
Yeah. And there are people out there developing technology that can you know, scan the ground and it'll tell you what it is to a certain probability of what's the service line material.
So when do you expect this letter to go out?
I mean, it has to be out by December 31st. So the next 2 months maybe.
Oh,
I want to
okay.
post it on
Yeah.
Facebook ahead of time and
That's. The whole you and let everyone know that.
Well, yeah, that's, I mean, can you provide us with a copy of,
yeah.
I'd like to see a copy.
It's the
I'll
same,
probably get-
it's the same one you got last
Yeah, I
year.
know,
I
just,
don't think there's dates that are gonna change on it. I literally think it's the same letter. So,
right,
again, that's all templates, because that was a big problem. We got a lot of people calling saying the letter was very, I don't know, aggressive, fear monger. But it was directly from EPA through the state to us, and we got it last minute. And this year we got a little more time to prepare.
well, do we have the ability to modify it?
Very,
I mean,
I mean,
I'm sure
I did
there's
modify it.
standard language that has to be in there.
most of it
Like-
is. There was even a section that was listed as being uneditable that I called the health department, like, this can't be in here, like, we have to change this, and they allowed me to change it. So there was a section about replacing and contacting your municipality to replace their section. That doesn't work for us. I can't put this out there. So, and they're like, yeah, you can change that, but the directions were very clear, like, written in that color and that font, you can't change it. And
Okay.
I contacted them and they're like, yeah, you can change that. So,
Excellent.
but it's limited what we can edit and what we can. Most of it is all, you know,
I
prescribed.
know in other notifications, there's certain standard languages that you have no
Most of
ability to
it-
change, and if,
Most of it's prescribed,
yeah, okay.
with the exception of the name of the water utility and stuff like that.
Honestly, just let everybody kind of, forewarning them when that's actually going out. You wanna, you had an issue that you raised, I don't know.
Are we gonna go to, is there anything for executive session?
I mean, I got personnel stuff.
We can wait there. I don't
Okay.
wanna take the temperature of the board. I don't wanna,
Okay,
you know, it's not something that everyone else feels.
well, the water plant operator trainee is a personnel issue, right? Or you got other,
I got
I mean,
one
the,
on top of that.
huh?
Correspondence. Is this,
And of course, what do you want to do next?
Pick your poison.
Don't matter to me, pick your poison.
You want to do the Greenville one? You can do that.
Greenkill Avenue? Sure. So exactly where is 300 Greenkill Avenue?
Just past Washington. But
I figured on the other side, by the,
Yeah.
going toward the Greek church.
Before the church, right before the church. Right?
Yeah,
Right
there's a lot of,
up on the hill before the church.
there's a lot of bedrock that.
So this gentleman bought that house 2 years ago. And he calls us and he asks if he can get a meter because he's gonna start redoing the house. His house was in pretty rough shape. And we tell him, you don't have a meter, you don't have a service. He says, I do. We're like, all right, we need to get in there. So we had no record of this house ever having a tap, ever. And the guy had just bought it and immediately called us like, all right, so you gotta get a meter in here. And he put a meter in. And he's been doing work for 2 years and now he saw his email.
mhm.
He said he can't get through the rock because of the work he's done. The water line is now at ground level. And he's concerned about it freezing. And he has the well, I think he mentions he has all the equipment for the well to work. So he was looking to see if he could just rehab it, reactivate it.
So did he excavate material to,
He must have excavated stuff over, I mean.
over the water line to expose the water line? Because at one
So,
point in time, unless the water line, I don't know how deep the water line was originally when he
yeah, I don't know.
purchased it.
I'm not sure.
So
I talked to him very briefly before I got this email and he sent it in and I included it. I told him it's not necessarily gonna have a determination at this meeting, but if you send it in, I can at least include it in the packet.
So this is a hammer drill, this heavy hydraulic breaker. Is like he's hammering the rock.
Yeah, said they didn't even make a dent. That's what he told me. I think he wrote that in here as well.
Well, is there any possibility of redirecting the line and, any kind of insulation that could possibly work with not having the line freeze? I don't know myself.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that you have to hire somebody to
Mm.
do some drilling or something to find a
Consulting
line.
engineer,
Insulation is also more heat tracing. You can heat trace the line.
What's heat tracing?
They
Wrap-
wrap
heat
the-
tape?
Foil, like
Yeah,
foil?
they wrap the pipe in that cable type of wiring and
Okay.
plug it in.
It's really heat tape that people have in their basements or something
Okay.
that are not heated
It's gonna
or.
cost it's gonna cost them money to keep it heated,
Electricity.
you know, starting whenever the frost starts, it's gotta turn it on and take it over when the frost is over.
Mhm.
So the house next to him
Or go down.
has water and then the church has water,
Is there another?
right? Because he's on the corner.
I think he's the one right before the church.
And then going down South Washington would be the next house. They don't have wells. He's the only one.
So he's the one right next to the church.
Yeah, he's in the corner, right of Greenkill and South Washington, looks like on the map.
Yeah, it's Washington, so like I said, it does turn, oh, it's still Washington there, I don't think it turns to South Washington, so.
Goes across Green, goes
Oh, no, I guess
across
that's,
32.
like I said, it's the break in Washington right there. Okay. Yeah, so he is, I guess he's right behind one South Washington. I'm looking at this.
I see also, he just says here and here that he would cost less money.
Yes.
Getting the well going than having to put the line in, yeah, differently, okay.
We've had staff up there.
We were there when we put the meter in, I mean.
Okay, I
we
mean,
haven't
has
been-
anybody
we haven't
been up
in a
there?
while. He has the meter, he's paying his bills, and I don't think he's been living there, I think he's getting closer to actually living here, that's why he's concerned about winter water, I'm assuming he's been shutting it off, winterizing it for the last 2 years, or
Or
it's only one winter.
Yeah.
And before, I'm assuming it was off too, since we didn't know it existed,
Either that or for no meter, you could have the water running continually.
or that.
Water.
Who knows? I mean, it wasn't him. I mean, he bought it and he
Yeah,
called us.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be up and
Oh, yeah.
notifying you and saying, hey, I wanna do what's right here, but,
Maybe.
you know, I don't wanna spend
Yeah.
$100,000 trying to put a water line in when I have and we didn't even realize that he had a water line.
No,
on
we
the
had,
plot.
we had no record of the service. There was never a meter in there as far as I can tell.
House right on the corner.
Next to the church on the hill.
One on top of the hill, right on the corner, so
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
used to be road to his tax service.
okay.
I don't know.
Well, then would it
I
work?
was in that. I mean, so his tax service.
Did you dig the well?
I never drank the water, but I can't believe they didn't have a service up there.
No, they do. That's what we didn't know they did.
You get free service.
When was the last time this was occupied? You have any idea?
No, we wouldn't be able, because there was no water usage to monitor.
Right,
People,
okay.
every know the house is occupied, the water stopped being used. So, I mean.
I mean, what does the water department feel about? Like, normally, we're not granting anyone
I mean,
permission to use.
Well,
I guess
we have the authority to.
It might be 51B here in this, right there, that is what we have to, I think, decide, right? 51B, does that
it's
apply? to
there
the-
already, and he's not asking to drill it, just asking to reactivate it, so. I did tell him that if he were to do that, I would like to see the service, if the board were to allow him to use the well, I'd like to see the service disconnected. The main correctly, as it should be,
So go back out to the street.
and disconnect it properly, and he said not a problem. But that's the route he goes.
I think it starts off Washington.
Across Greenkill, he's on the
There's
south.
houses between him and Washington, I think, or South Washington, one South Washington. Well, the corner is one South Washington, he's behind, directly next to the church and him almost share a driveway.
Okay.
But he's like on the other side of the Central Hudson, whatever they have there.
Yeah, we don't wanna start dealing
Isn't that
with
the
things like
same
we
one?
have up
Isn't
there where the
Same
water
hole?
line's going down.
Yeah.
Most tons? Cause doesn't it blow, it didn't
Right,
blow out
I mean,
over there?
Was that
It's
where
in
the
that
Central
area.
is? I don't know.
It's where,
That's where I got
when
it.
they fixed it, it was blowing out on the corner there. Cause it's bedrock probably. but it's not-
Well, we don't have to make any
I told him. it might
answer
not have
tonight,
a decision.
but I mean, I guess it wouldn't,
Well,
I'd like to have like maybe your staff, our staff distribution, Ryan or somebody go up. Just take a look at this from our perspective and maybe report back and give us your recommendation. You know, we can issue an exemption, I assume, can't we?
Well, wouldn't it fall under 51B?
No, that
No.
says
This
the
section?
section shall not apply to properties in
That
the
are
city that are
subject to
supply of water from the well prior to the effective date of this article.
Yeah, before the.
So he
effective-
wouldn't be prohibited if we would use that section of the. That's how I read it.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah,
But didn't we,
It's not a new well.
No,
You
he's
don't
not,
want to be
Yeah.
thinking new
Yeah.
wells, right? But if they have a
Well,
well,
true.
and there's no other way.
right, okay, the well was,
it's there already. I mean, he says
Right,
it's there, he
okay.
has the equipment for it. I think he even mentions it in his email, that he has everything he would need. I believe he mentioned that, maybe he told me.
so yeah, well, yeah, technically he's in compliance then would be.
that's how I read it at least, you know, but I think it's a good idea to just go up and check
It would be,
everything
it'd
out.
be nice to have staff verify
Yeah.
whatever he has in his submission to us, so that,
But everyone feels if it's all, we would grant him permission.
yeah, he's in compliance with the regulation,
Yeah.
the way you read 51B.
It's interesting, our
Health department.
assessment data shows
Health
that it's
department approved.
public parcel.
Interesting. Yeah,
Which,
so I guess
which
we
now
need
it is.
Right,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's true.
Oh, because it was-
That's
it
true.
was-
As of
done.
when, last year sometime, when you,
Do you have what happens with sewer?
well, that was my
charges?
question here, that, I mean, what's his sewer?
How do we charge people?
So. I don't know if he has sewer.
Well, that's my other question, is there a sewer line?
So that's something we get from engineering. So they tell us who's exempt, so I'm assuming that this guy at some point, we were told he was exempt from sewer. I have to look at the.
Well,
actual-
like, he seems to be a upright guy, I mean, call him and say, well, what do you,
Well, he could have a septic.
Right, yeah, because there are properties like that. I mean, there's a handful that we're told don't have sewer and they don't get built.
you know, I wonder how other sewer works if it's bedrock, I don't, you know, when you have bedrock, you normally don't have an adequate permeable soil to put in an on-site sewage system, so,
I
Be-
don't know offhand what this.
Unless there's
situation
some
is.
part of how large is the lot? that
No,
was-
you definitely can't have a
No.
septic, it's too small.
y-
I'm looking at it now, the house takes up more than half a lot, and the rest of the lot is just his driveway.
So this house had an unmetered water line and you think maybe sewer that was never paid for.
This was not how.
Mhm.
there must be other ones though, Mayor, that don't have water that do have sewer, no?
I don't know, I don't think so.
You don't
I
think
don't know
so?
if we have any wells that are not.
I mean, like, I think Speedway is on a well, but they probably don't have sewer, 'cause they're way out by 32 in Eastchester. I doubt they have any sewer out there.
Yeah.
Like across from Landmark, I think they're technically in the city of Kingston, they don't have our water. I mean, I think there are some, like the Sojourner Tree Park's gonna be on sewer, but not on the water.
Yeah,
And I think they were working out with engineering, like they're gonna work with Ulster to get
yeah, I think
the
we-
water usage there.
Yeah, and that's what we do with the town of Ulster currently, because we take a lot of sewage from the town of Ulster, and what we do is we actually get all of their water bills, and then we send bills to their customers, or to them. But this is unique because it's kind of in the city.
Well, I mean, at some point, I mean, you just gotta figure out
We
an,
gotta check-
an average,
Well,
average usage.
we could require an effluent meter, right?
I would assume. we could.
Or maybe require them to put a water meter on as well. Which might be easier, more effective than a sewer effluent. Right?
It's gonna use a lot less on sewer. It's water.
Oh,
Well, if we're granting him an exemption for the well, that would be part of the.
I think these are all things that we can do. There's a big
Yeah.
side.
yeah, well, I guess you have a couple of things to follow up on. One is,
I mean, I can send people over, I don't know what they're gonna see that's gonna help us, to be honest, I mean, they're gonna see. What he did, nobody we have here on staff's gonna know. You actually can get through there, if he has engineers or contractors telling us he can't. We don't have anybody qualified to say. you
yeah,
can.
well,
We also want the public, the health department. Opinion
Yeah, I can, that I can do, I mean, sending somebody over there to give an opinion
on the
on
road.
what he should or shouldn't do, I don't have anybody. to do that.
well, we need to nail down the sewer side of it. What does he do for sewer? What type of sewer line does he have? I mean, technically the sewer line is not probably gonna freeze, and so it probably can be you know, on top of the ground almost, or within,
Eject the station. It's cheap, easy to do in your house. Get that to a public sewer.
I mean, that I would
That's
think
different
would be
water.
engineering and building. I mean, they have to do a COO, I would think, for this house.
But you, I guess you're saying that if the sewer can find a path through the rock, why can't the water?
right, how deep is the sewer
Yeah.
line? Where, is there one, is there a sewer line? How deep is the sewer line? How did they put the sewer line in?
Well, you could, yeah,
And what did he do? I mean, I guess part of what I would like our staff to do is, at one point in time, there was a water line that was functional. And he modified something to make it non-functional.
I think it's still functional, he just thinks it's gonna freeze when he's
Well-
using it year round.
Why didn't it freeze for the
He
previous
could've
one?
been- He might have been winterizing, but, or he might have been running, or before he had.
I mean, maybe- That's one of the questions we want to answer. We want to,
Yeah.
what changed in regards to
You have to find
the
out.
water line, why
Yeah.
it
For the
didn't
last
seem to
2
be
years, and it's.
Yeah, it was
So
functional, or maybe it wasn't functional. Maybe,
maybe we just don't know if maybe they just shut it off because they weren't there. Who knows?
or maybe that water line was never very deep and maybe put the well in because he had a free, I don't know. These are kind of the,
Mhm.
I guess, the
The
questions.
property, that's why.
Hmm?
He says he regraded the property. that's
Yeah.
why it's-
Well, so I mean, he kind of created the problem, I guess, but it's still technically in compliance with 51B anyway.
you could hammer it, I mean, you could get a bigger hammer and you could eventually hammer the rock out, but the question
It's
is,
gonna be-
how much
Right.
cost?
I just like to try to figure out the sewer end of it.
That's what he says in his, he said if he does redirect the line, it just would be more cost effective to get the well back up and going than doing all that. That's actually was my question, and I saw it down here. He said, in contrast, restoring the well would cost many thousand less than retrenching and installing a new copper line to the curb stop. Yeah, yeah.
Well, cause they say they should paint those machines green, cause if they show up on your job site, you're pissing away money, a hammer drill. Like if you're digging, you find rock and you gotta call a hammer in. It's expensive.
Well, if we can figure out the sewer side of it, that would make me feel a little bit more comfortable. But I don't think anybody's, from what I hear going around, is opposed to it, because it appears that it still might be in compliance with 51B.
I'll get some more information.
Okay.
Still got a couple more months before it's gonna get cold enough for hopefully to freeze, and I don't know where he is in his product, his process. More investigation next month. Just figure it out. Superintendent's report? Been pretty dry here the last several weeks, right?
Yeah, actually, I just got a phone call. Mr. Quigley, the state just put Ulster County in a drought.
Oh.
So he was looking for, he was texting me, so I didn't answer his call.
Didn't watch it.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I'm in a water board
Did he
meeting.
call you over?
When I don't answer when he calls, he then texts.
Yeah, no, Sam.
Yeah,
So we're only 3.5 down, which is not really abnormal for this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, in
October-
September, we're
October is-
3.8, and in October, we're 4.6 on average.
We're around 3.5 right now, like as of today, so.
Right. We get much rain, we had rain when?
It was,
Last,
it came and went so quick though, we had a more sustained rain
Okay.
to actually get any. Flows in the city are still quite low, so.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point, there's no concern, I mean, we're still, 2 months away from the low point.
Okay.
So. This is our normal trend.
mhm.
I mean, actually, we were more full than we usually are all year, so we're ahead of, we've dropped a little bit less.
August, we didn't have any major breaks or taps or.
No, they're just some hydrants that we took care of, but it's a good, I mean, don't use those words. Knock on something,
One good hurricane and we'll be back.
for that, yes, for water.
Now, generally that's what happens, right? You get
Yeah, we'll get a
one of those big storms that come up and they'll dump 6 inches of rain on you for over 3 days and,
If it hits some of the mountains, we're good.
yeah. Okay, any other? There's no other questions, entertain a motion to accept the superintendent's report.
I'll make a motion to accept the superintendent's report.
Okay, second? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, you want to go in executive session to talk about personnel?
Yeah.
Okay, I need a motion to go in executive session.
Make the motion to go into executive session.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're now in executive session.
Seconds.
Second.
Those in favor? Okay, we're out of executive session back into regular session, dealing with a couple of personnel issues, so, and want to make, motions on those two personnel issues?
I'll make a motion, let me see here. To approve the appointment of Joseph Alessi. Okay, as water plant operator trainee with an annual salary of $52,174.97, effective September 15th, 2020.
Okay, second, okay, any other discussion? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We want to make one on Devin Sussin, or I can actually make that, right?
Sure.
Okay, motion to promote Devin Sussin from, well, what is he?
Operator.
Operator mechanic to a senior operator. Effective the payroll following the issuance of his 1A license from the state health department. Okay,
Second then.
okay, any other discussion? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And carried. And that's all that's in front of the board then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then a motion to adjourn.
Should do, we can try to.
So I'll make a motion.
Second, okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Jim, the really.
anybody